Good morning, everyone. My name is Sally Watts, and it's my pleasure to be your service leader today. I've got with us the incomparable Catherine Hemmons, who will share some joys and concerns. We've got our ace cameraman behind the camera back there is Jim McDermott, and over here on our computer and sound is Ray Plummery, our esteemed president. We are so glad you are here today with us. We're going to begin today with singing Spirit of Life. Jeff Lovejoy recorded this months ago before we even realized we needed this. And we're so grateful to Jeff for bringing this music to us. Catherine's going to join me from a safe distance. And we're going to sing Spirit of Life if Ray will continue to play that for us. I should put my mask on so you can't see me when I mess up. Okay, ready? Spirit of Life. Let's play it.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirs of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you all out there. I know you were enjoying that music and singing along with us, right? Shake your head, right? Very good, very good. So we have a few announcements. So Sunday, August 2nd, guess what? We've got a picnic, and that's going to be at noon in our backyard. We want all of you to come. Well, actually, this blast goes out to about 285 people, so maybe not all of you can come, but those that live in Florence that might want to come over, join us in our backyard. Steve Young mows it for us, so it's nice and level and clean. We put out flags so we can practice social distancing. Bring your own chair, bring a friend, bring your own food and beverage, and let's have a little picnic this particular Sunday, August 2nd at noon. Next Sunday, two things. We have Reverend Ruth Miller will be joining us again. Yay! Ruth will bring her message. It's entitled Breakdowns and Breakthroughs. Should be quite special to see and be with her again next week. As well, next week, August 9th, we will be having a happy hour Zoom call at 5 p.m. So today, Sunday the 2nd, we're doing a picnic. A week from today, we're going to do a Zoom happy hour, and we'll sort of rotate that back and forth. Okay, and you should be receiving these e-blasts no later than 8 a.m. on Sunday mornings. If I can get to it sooner, I'll send it Friday or Saturday, and you can watch whenever you want, okay? So any information you want included in this e-blast, make sure I get it before Thursday at 5 p.m. How's that? So, any other announcements? Oh yes, we are practicing safe hygiene up here. I've got my mask. Catherine and I are safely apart. We're not sharing this microphone, I'm not touching it, but I'm going to step back, we're going to step forward, and we're going to be very respectful, and we've all agreed that this is a safe working environment for all of us. And, to be honest, nobody else comes in here except on Fridays when we're here. So, the place is pretty clean, okay? So I invite Catherine to come forward, we're going to light our flame. So now that the light of the chalice has been lit, I offer this from Connie Simon titled, This is the Hour. This is the hour. The time has come. Mindful of our responsibilities as leaders of this faith and guardians of the living tradition, we call upon that great cloud of witnesses, those who came before, those who are here now, and those who have yet to come. We seek their presence, love, and support in this place at this hour. We kindle this flame to light their path and call them near as we undertake sacred work. Blessed be. Catherine, will you lead us through some joys and concerns?
Good morning, everyone. This is the portion of our service where we share our joys and concerns. We do this to share our hearts with each other. And we do this to take a chance to allow our sorrow to be set free by a kind word from one another. If you would like to have your joy or concern shared, drop a line to the Hove email, correct?
Yes.
The Hove email, and someone will pass it on to me. Please take the chance. This is how we stay connected in this time that is so difficult at times to feel connected. We don't have to sit home. We can have our voices heard, at least. I have a concern. My older cat, you know how cats are all animals, they can't tell you. So he has a little something on his cyst or something on the side of his head, and we rushed him to the vet, and the vet is taking it seriously, and just say a little prayer, a good kind word for his complete recovery.
His name?
His name is Simon Templar,
No way.
the saint.
I love it. Simon, can I drop this shell for Simon
Please drop the shell for Simon Templar. Now we have Ray coming up for us. Thank you, Ray.
Hi everyone, I have a joy. The joy is every other Sunday when we have our picnic, I actually get to see everybody. Or not everybody, but people who show up. So those of you who haven't made a personal appearance, it's really safe. We're outside, we have masks, we do distancing, we chat from several feet apart, and it's all pretty good. So I'm hoping some of you who haven't come will come this Sunday. It'd be nice to see your face. That's all. Oh, and by the way, all the shells have been sanitized, so
Yes.
Sally's safe too.
Yes, I'm safe too.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Sally to drop a final shell for all the joys and the concerns that have not been shared, but that are in your hearts, knowing that our collective energy, our love, is going out to you. And I have a couple words from my favorite metaphysician, Ernest Holmes. Can't get by without him some weeks. Do you wish to be loved? Then stop hating. Do you wish to be happy? Then be sure that you are never the occasion for unhappiness in others. And do you wish to stop shedding tears? Then be sure you are never the instrument which causes others to shed them. Cleanse your own self to truth. And so it is.
Wow. Do you wish to be loved? Then stop hating. Wow, that's beautiful. That's very profound. I found a responsive reading I'd like us to share, and I've asked Jim and Catherine and Ray to join along. It's also provided for you in print in your e-blast today, so you can read along as you want. This is from Carrie McDonald, and it's titled, Love is Hard. Love is hard.
Love for people, especially those who are different from you.
Love that says, I see you as a person.
Love that says, let your unique light shine in the world, because each of our souls touches the divine mystery.
Love that says, you're on a journey together, and my fate is tied up with yours.
Love that grabs you and won't let go until your whole life is dedicated to siding with love.
Love that changes the world.
Love is hard. Do it anyway.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So at this time, I'm going to ask Ray if he would cue up a wonderful musical interlude. This also is from Jeff Lovejoy. A few months ago, he recorded this. It's entitled Life Goes On. And Jim, maybe you can zoom in on the geese if you think, and we'll turn off the lights, and we here will relax and enjoy the particular musical interlude along with you. Right? Almost like being here in person. And Catherine, you were dancing around the room here a little bit. That was kind of fun to watch, by the way. Love that. So it's my pleasure to introduce our guest at the pulpit this day, the Reverend Barbara Wells ten Hove. She's been with us a couple of times now already. She's up in Washington. Wonderful gal. I've watched this message and heard this a couple of times already, and I hope you will enjoy it. She's going to start with delightful music and an introduction to her particular message today, which is titled something about perseverance. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll be back with you as soon as she is finished with her message about perseverance.
Well, hello, friends at FOOF. It's so great to see you again, as it were. I am here in my living room in Bellingham saying hello to all of you down in Oregon on the coast. I want to share a song with you that is important to my topic of perseverance. This is a song by Joseph Shabalala, and he was the leader of Ladysmith Black Mambazo. You may remember that wonderful singing group from South Africa. At one point during apartheid, Joseph Shabalala was forced to leave South Africa, And when he was far away from his home, he was feeling very despairing and thinking that, maybe he would never get home. And then this thought came to him, "Be still, my heart, even here I am at home." And he wrote this song, and the words are in Zulu. They're pretty easy to learn. Tula klezio nala pasakaya. Hey kaya nala pasakaya. Now, when this song was performed in South Africa originally, they were not allowed to use drums. And so they created this step that did the sound of the drum. But because we are glad that apartheid ended, we are joyfully bringing the drum back to our song today. So this is Tula Klizio. I hope wherever you are, you might join in singing, maybe even join in moving. So here we go. Tula Klizio nala pasakaya, Tula Klizio nala pasakaya, hey kaya nala pasakaya, hey kaya nala pasakaya, Tula Klizio nala pasakaya, Tula Klizio nala pasakaya, hey kaya nala pasakaya, hey kaya nala pasakaya. Hey kaya nala pasakaya, hey kaya nala pasakaya, Tula Klezio nala pasakaya, Tula Klezio nala pasakaya, hey kaya nala pasakaya, hey kaya nala pasakaya. Hello again, friends. I'm delighted to talk with you this morning from my house in Bellingham, Washington. We're a long way apart in both time. I'm recording this a few days before you hear it, and distance, but close, I hope, in spirit. Imagining we are all in the same room together, let's take a deep breath and get started. Humans are interesting creatures. We are, most of us, born with a capacity to be both creative and stubborn, loving and spiteful, committed and fickle. Though we come into this world with DNA that shapes who we will become, we can't predict how our life will unfold. What we can presume, however, is that most of us will face loss, challenge, and struggle as we move through our lives. Rarely do we reach adulthood without something difficult getting in our way. And I don't know a soul who reaches our later years, as I have, without having to make hard choices, without having to face real struggle, without knowing loss and grief. I think it may be one of the reasons why the late Unitarian Universalist theologian and minister Forrest Church called humans homo religiosus, the religious human. We seem to be hardwired to find meaning in life's struggles, perhaps because we can't ever escape them. Since we are in a particularly difficult and unprecedented time, it seems rather important to reflect on ways we can get through this era in human history with strength and courage. And one word I keep returning to that feels critical to our work in this day and age is perseverance. I see it as a great spiritual strength, but one that could use some unpacking. As I've reflected on this topic, I thought of another word one of my high school teachers used to encourage her students to get the work done. She called it stick-to-itiveness. What a great expression. It certainly rang true for me when I first heard it, perhaps because I have always been good at sticking to something. I seem to have been born with a natural tendency to make good on my commitments, perhaps stemming from an inborn inclination to follow rules. But stick-to-itiveness, as important a quality as it may be, is not quite the same as perseverance. For perseverance means, at least according to one dictionary, a steady persistence in a course of action, especially in spite of difficulties, obstacles, or discouragement. Its root is related to the word severe and suggests the art of moving through a severe or challenging time. Well, we do indeed live in a challenging time. A pandemic might seem enough, but we're also wrestling with systemic racism, anger and protests, and corruption in government. And that was just last week. Challenges are everywhere, both personal and political. How do we find the spiritual strength to persevere in spite of all that stands in our way? I've thought about this a lot. Certainly many of us need to find ways to make it through the hard times that are here for most of us. Your hard times may be powerfully personal, like struggling because of job loss, dealing with aging parents and not being able to see them because of the pandemic, finding a way out of a difficult relationship, or discovering the strength to face ill health in you or in someone you love. Or you may be worrying more about global issues, such as figuring out how to respond to this pandemic and systemic racism, and of course, to climate change. The pandemic didn't chase that away. Whether close to home or global and intimidating, there's no question that hard times are here, and we have to persevere in the face of them. But how in the world do we do that? One source I've turned to is the author and teacher Margaret J. Wheatley. She's been profiled in Yes Magazine, written a number of books, and co-founded the Berkana Institute. She also published a little book whose topic, perseverance, is the same as mine for this service. In it, she seeks to help people like us, who are facing challenges, but who really want to make a difference in the world, to find the spiritual strength to carry on. And she begins the book with an interesting piece given to her by a Hopi elder in 2009. And though Wheatley wrote it in poetic form, it carries the primary message of those elders. She writes, "To my fellow swimmers, here is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid, who will try to hold on to the shore. They are being torn apart and will suffer greatly. Know that the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, and keep our heads above water." That's a very different way of looking at perseverance, isn't it? The elders are saying not to hold on to what we already have, but to let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, and keep our heads above water. I think people often misinterpret perseverance as only meaning to hang on for dear life. And of course, there are times when this might be the best way to persevere. Any of us who have been married a long time know that there are moments when we simply have to hold on to our partner because we made a commitment to do so. That means that even in the midst of the inevitable struggles and challenges of long-term relationships, we hang on in order to work things through and come out on the other side with a deeper and stronger commitment. But sometimes the act of persevering invites us to make changes and to let go of old patterns. In her book, Meg Wheatley has this to say about it. When things aren't going well, when the results we need aren't materializing, it's time to be different. It's time to choose a new response. We don't have to choose a better response. It just needs to be different. We don't do things differently to upset people. Changing our behavior is how we discover we have a choice. Then she writes this about choice. Perseverance is a choice. It's not a simple one-time choice. It's a daily one. There's never a final decision. There's never a final decision. That may be the essence of spiritually pursuing the strength of perseverance. It's a willingness to keep trying, to keep swimming, as it were, even though we may change directions along the way. How does this translate into real life? Well, let's return to the story of Joseph Shabalala that I shared with you in another video. Ending apartheid is a wonderful example of this kind of perseverance. You may recall, if you're old enough, that apartheid was the law in South Africa for a very long time, and the resistance to it was kept shut down, except in small pockets here and there. But something changed when both within and outside South Africa, people began to imagine new ways of resisting. Here in America, and in other countries as well, the divestment movement got people doing something very different with their money. And money always gets people's notice. By encouraging universities and corporations to stop investing in South African firms. In South Africa, resistance came from within the Black community as they used music, among other things, to protest in quiet but real ways. But most South African white leaders still resisted, not believing that the divestment program or the Black resistance would last. And here's where our story gets interesting. American songwriter Paul Simon, in defiance of what was in reality a boycott of South Africa, chose to go into the country, against the advice of many white liberals in the U.S., to make music with the Black musicians who were the victims, survivors, and resistors of apartheid. For Joseph Shabalala and Ladysmith Black Mambazo to work with Simon was powerfully risky. And it's true that many members of his family were killed in the apartheid struggle, and he was almost unable to return to his country after he had to flee. But because he and others were willing to try a different way of persevering, working with folks who also broke the rules, the change they were working for actually happened. Though things are not perfect by any means in South Africa, apartheid ended, not in small part due to the efforts of those who didn't simply stay the course, but rather kept their heads above water, swimming toward their goal, finding a new direction when it was needed, and staying the course when it was not. This seems like a powerful role model for our times, doesn't it? We've seen a lot of digging in of heels on the part of so many in respect to the big issues of our day, from the pandemic to climate change to systemic racism. For years, people have thought if we just keep on doing the same old things, the world would change. But we know now that just isn't true. We can't wish these big issues away. I think we also know that the big changes that need to happen, from finding a vaccination for the coronavirus to changing the structure of policing in our country, won't change overnight. It will take patience, certainly, but more, it will take perseverance. We have to not just hang in there, as important as that is. We also have to allow ourselves to let go of the shore and swim in the deep end with others who may know better than we do how to swim in these particular seas. There is so much that needs our commitment and love and energy. There are so many really big challenges facing us today. It will take a lot of work to make a difference. It will take a lot of people and a lot of patience. And it will take a willingness to persevere, even when giving up might seem much easier. I am inspired in this work by the African Americans who have done so much for so many generations in the face of so much hatred and systemic racism. The death of John Lewis last month brought this issue to the forefront for me. Oh, talk about perseverance. For years and years, up until his death, Lewis spoke truth to power, marched and cajoled, challenged and loved people into doing the right thing, all the while being vilified and quite literally beaten for his commitment to justice. We have so much to learn from people like him who have gone before, and from others who are swimming in these deepening waters today. Their work mirror the wise words of Margaret Wheatley, who challenges people like us to stay in the river, to swim at times and tread water at others. She knows that perseverance requires us to do the best we can and to help others as well. Listen to her wisdom once again. It can take many years to discover clarity, how to withstand life's challenges, how to stay in the river. Instead of struggling or avoiding difficulties, we become people who know they can hold their ground, even as the currents intensify and threaten to drag us under. We learn to sink our feet into the mud ever more deeply, because we know that more challenges are coming. Once we've experienced life in all its dimensions, good, bad, hard, easy, life doesn't seem so challenging. Every situation is what it is, sometimes lovely, sometimes difficult. Every situation is workable. We're fully in the river, and we're learning how to keep our heads above water. The spiritual strength of perseverance places in us the ability to live fully through all that life brings us. It's not hanging on for dear life, sticking to familiar ways and avoiding change. Rather, to persevere is to trust that we have the capacity to do the work of building a better world. We are capable of swimming in the deep end, particularly if we do so with others who may be more familiar with the currents than we are. Each of us will find the small and large way we can impact the world around us. We can learn from people like John Lewis, even as we follow our own path toward making a difference. Perhaps you're parenting or have parented kids who grow up loving themselves and others. Perhaps you're living lightly on the planet. Perhaps you're making art or music. Perhaps you're designing buildings or software. Perhaps today you may just be doing the simple act of staying home and listening more than talking, something we know can make a world of difference. Friends, we will get through this. Perseverance is possible. And I hope that you persevere in the spiritual practice of coming to church here week after week. There are times when I wonder if it even matters, if the thing we call a church makes a difference in anyone's life. But I keep doing it because I believe that the religious communities Unitarian Universalists create together gives me, and I hope you, strength to persevere. Being with each other week after week, even virtually, perhaps even more so because we have to do it virtually, reminds us that we're all swimming in the same direction, trying to build a world where unity and love prevail. These may be the most challenging times any of us have ever experienced. And I know there are times when it can just feel like too much. If that's true for you, as it is for me, then give yourself permission to take a break. Take a breath. We're in a marathon, not a sprint. And to persevere in the midst of it means there will be times when we have to pause and float until we're ready to swim again. As Margaret Wheatley reminds us, every situation is what it is, sometimes lovely, sometimes difficult. Every situation is workable. Perseverance is possible. Thanks again for inviting me into your homes. I do hope someday I'll be able to be with you in person. Until that day, stay safe, stay strong, and persevere. Bright blessings on us all. Amen. And blessed be.
Thank you, Barbara. Wonderful message. I love the stick-to-itiveness that you talked about. I love that expression. I use it quite often. It's a great way to think about perseverance, isn't it? We hope you and Jocko can join us for our Zoom happy hour next week at 5 p.m. I believe we exchanged a few emails, and you just might be able to make it and be a part of us, because we sure like to have you being a part with us. So at this time, I ask you who are listening to this from the comfort of your own special place of worship to consider your contribution to Foof. At this time of our offering, we ask that you give what you will for this fellowship that has meant so much to you. We ask that you give what you will for this fellowship that has meant so much to those who came before you. We ask you to give what you will for this fellowship that will mean so much to those you may never know. Give what you will, for you are a generous people. You may mail your contributions to us at Foof. Our P.O. Box is 2502, Florence 97439. And another really convenient way to give is to go on our website and click on the donate button. And it goes through either our PayPal account or through your credit card, whichever you prefer. You can also designate how much you would like to give to Foof and how much you would like to give to our community partner, KXCR Community Radio. They will be receiving our donations for all of July and now into August. Thank you very, very much. I invite Catherine up again to extinguish our flame. And I share these words from Amy Zucker Morgenstern, titled, "It Becomes More." When we take fire from our chalice, it does not become less, it becomes more. And so we extinguish our chalice, but we take its light and warmth with us, multiplying their power by all of our lives and sharing it with the world. Blessed be. In closing, I offer these final words from Richard Gilbert, which I think go hand in hand with our talk today. As we leave this community of the Spirit, may we remember the difficult lesson that each day offers more things than we can do. May we do what needs to be done, postpone what does not need to get done, and be at peace with what we can be and do. Therefore, may we learn to separate that which matters most and let go that which matters least of all. And most important, persevere. So we've come to the conclusion of yet another Worship Sunday, and I thank all who helped along the way. You know, Jay Gutler takes all these pieces, parts, and puts it into a nice format that we get to send off to you. You get to click on the play button and enjoy it from your home. You know you can start and stop this many times if you need to go get coffee or a beverage or something to eat, but come back, okay? Come back to us, and we hope to see you next Sunday the 9th at 5 p.m. as well as the picnic today. So we're going to close now with our peace song, performed by Foofers. It was produced by Kamala and Lanny, accompanied by Laura Lee, and you gotta love them, right? The spirit of these people standing there singing. So enjoy, be safe, and until we are together virtually or in person, stay well and enjoy the company of the one you're with. Blessed be.
With
I was doing a little thing with